Hello, Jake Light, gaming lawyer at your service. We are back again with Great Ace Attorney. We're gonna find out this next set of testimonies is full of flaws again, and we'll see what kind of flaws it is. Actually, I am not exactly certain what flaws it is, but without further ado, the law sincerely remember that I suppose might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself until I heard a scream. Press this. You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That's to say, not sir. I didn't. Hey, why are you looking like that? Or is it normal? Excuse me. Mr. First. Oh, how can I, sir? That's not okay, no, nothing. It didn't trouble. You always look like that, I guess. I'm guessing it is very, very obvious. That reaction, what I'm saying. Let's press this. Because I would say it was a very wrong me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. When you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, you say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir. I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, so. Okay, that's lame. Oh, please, you didn't even see that? It was cold, so cold that night, you see. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, and my head was fairly frozen solid. Sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service on London's cold winter nights. Anyway, the fact remains there can't be anyone else inside the carriage, or we could have seen. Well, can I present this? I'll press first. I don't trust the game to give me such a direct way of. Okay, let me explain myself. They can see through the window, but they can only. I think they can only see through part of it, not everything. That's what my gut feeling is thinking. Everything you saw in the incident was through the skylight of the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh? Why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked from the inside? That's right, and it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play, even though my name is Fair Play, and I'm not playing fair at all. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the giant inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring long and hard. It's precisely what I can tell you with absolute confidence, that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? They might not have been able to. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of that cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. That at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Objection. Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well. I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area of the cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Which one was it? I totally forgot. There's one. Objection. If you believe that to be true, counsel, then I suggest you attempt to conceal yourself there. Sorry? Ah, poopy man. That's wrong. Oh no, my score. No. Whatever's in the hello chest. I thought you broke the hello chest. No, I failed. No, the business in the air, it seems. Perhaps you'd like to reconsider your answer, counsel. Okay, where could it be? Here? Let me look at the evidence again. This thing again, actually. Go inside, please. Yeah, so I was right. I mean, I was wrong choosing this part because I thought the victim was over here. My bad. Let's choose that bad. Choose here instead. Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other. Which means... Oh, okay. Technically, you can still see you bend over, right? The visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Oh, that's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite of the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Objection. It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. Right. I'm funny. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you are able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Miss Naruto? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been the other seat, which was out of sight from the witness on the roof deck? I have an inkling. The defense would like to put forward the name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. Do I know it? This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was killed from view was... Yeah, I mean, he's the only other guy. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection.
Okay. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my head on chalice, do forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zix.
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection.
But that premise may have been wrong. What? I like how their response is, what? It's like they are dumbfounded, surprised. If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's glove, my lord.
Huh?
Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection.
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection.
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes. And their, say,
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on the passenger's hand.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary! Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them was wearing hats and couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes.
The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir.
And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in the cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would have undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin which he traveled. Well, he did say he slept. He's right, if there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem.
Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand.
Well, what say you, counsel?
The prosecution objects, my lord.
On what grounds?
As a suspect, you will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be assured it will have been the most deliberate act.
Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? Demand his testimony. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury.
Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say.
Get the man out here, I say.
It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something is doing, it gets done. That's how I run things at the girl.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little punk has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Oh no, I'm gonna do the broken Irish accent again. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police?
Begad, no, 'tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you is all? I keep my mouth shut. Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. The carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true.
Hey, 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after all you had. How do I do this accent again? Hey, it was me who helped the little urchin get away after all it happened. That doesn't sound right. You, what? No, Magnus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry. So I am, Lord Van Viggs. Sure you'll be wanting to know what I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not in any way involved, you see. What? The police had known the wee one was there. They'd have assumed he should done it. They've hauled her into the courtroom, just like myself. I was only trying to spare her death. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That I don't know.
You don't know?
Well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before and since. Objection! We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't there in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Bang.
Ah! Smoke! Ah! Fire! That's fire! Look, someone's trying to get away. Go after him! The soldier! I can see it! What's this guy on? Ah!
Be careful, Miss Naruto. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus.
I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. To be continued. Interesting. Yes, please. All right. With that, we are out of time. That's nice. Thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this playthrough. I totally forgot how to do an Irish accent. Maybe I have to look it up. Or Scottish accent. I'm not sure. Irish, Scottish. Apologies if I butchered the accents. In any case, we'll see what happens next. Probably more. It's not. I don't see an end to this anytime soon. So, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Stay hopeful, but be critical. Bye bye.